Hello everybody and welcome to the Midnight McBride Show, show number 55. And this week's show is called The Wild West, and that's because I've got the Wild West woman in the studio with me, and that's Samantha West. Hello Samantha.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Lovely to be here.
It's wonderful to have you in the studio. I was quite excited.
Me too.
We'll start off with the things you do. And
Yeah, okay.
you are a children's author,
Yes.
and you're also a yogi.
Yes.
You're a musician,
Yeah.
singer,
Yeah.
and you also have taught creative writing to children.
I have indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all beautiful things and all expressing yourself as well, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. We'll start off, you know how the show goes, if you've seen it, how it works. And so we go on somebody's journey
Yeah.
and what happened in their life and then how they arrived in this present moment. And I always say your past doesn't define you. It's just your view on the journey to this present moment.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about your book, Flying Billy, which I've read very recently. And
Amazing.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was very... When you read something, sometimes it's as if it was written for you. You know,
Yeah.
and I read it, and just a beautiful message, and particularly about flying, because I often dream about flying.
Wow.
And it was
okay.
very poignant as well, because I've watched and read a lot of Sadhguru, and Sadhguru talks about human beings and it being a crime against humanity that when asked, can you get up and walk from a chair, human beings will say yes. When they're asked, can you fly, they'll say, no, of course not. And they'll say, why? He says, well, because we've never done that before. But if we define our future by everything we've done in the past and that limits us, then there's no opportunity for change and growth. It's really important that whatever's happened in the past doesn't limit us. That doesn't determine our future actions. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Sammy, how we met.
Yeah.
And Liam Brown has been on the show twice or three times now, possibly. And he's a yoga teacher, teaches yoga rave, has ecstatic dance, does retreats, and you're part of his Yoga Rebel Tribe posse. Yes?
Yeah, I do a lot of the dances.
Yes.
Yeah, I love dancing.
And you're actually a qualified yoga teacher too,
I
aren't
am
you?
indeed.
Although you're not teaching at the moment.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I want to teach just yoga, but I definitely learned a lot from that, and that started me probably on the path that I'm on now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Before we go into your journey and your story, just a little bit about Flying Billy, okay? Because
Yeah, of
we're going to go
course.
into detail about it later. But
Yeah.
so, what is the book? Roughly, give us an outline of the story?
Yeah.
I know at the end of the show in the extras, which we talked about, which is wonderful, is you're going to read the book for us, aren't you?
I am. I'm excited to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's about a little boy, Billy, who had always dreamt of being able to fly. And for him, you know, he didn't really believe in himself. And his parents don't really believe in him, but
Yeah.
his best mate does. So, Belinda.
Yeah.
There she is.
Yeah.
And
She's like a fairy and she's into flowers and everything, isn't she?
a lot of my friends say, Sammy, you're Belinda. But basically, I also think maybe I'm a little bit of Billy because with this story, he basically, as a result of his best mate believing in him, he really starts to believe in himself. And then it's a story as to whether he flies or not, basically.
And he grows wings,
Yeah,
doesn't
and then,
he?
you know, he can achieve whatever he wants to achieve with
Yeah.
self-belief and knowing he's worthy, you know.
That's a message that all adults need to get, really, isn't it?
Definitely,
You know,
as
so
well as children.
giving it to children, obviously they're going to eventually be adults, so it's a
Yeah.
really important, valuable time, isn't it?
Really is, really is.
So we always start with somebody's childhood, and where were you born, Sammy?
I was born in Wythenshawe, in Manchester.
So you've always been and still are a Manchester girl,
Still Manchester.
but now
yes.
you live in the posher part, Wilmslow.
Yes. Isn't that classed as Cheshire now? Have I not moved to Cheshire now? Possibly.
Yes, probably Cheshire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said that your mum and dad split up when you were quite young.
They did, yeah, when I was 4.
And that period then, as a young child, was quite turbulent.
Definitely.
Maybe
yeah.
tell us a bit about that.
The breakup was quite traumatic. So my earliest memory is when I was 4, and the earliest memory is one that is quite traumatic. So it was difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean that, for example, there's a lot of falling out, arguing, this kind of thing? You're experiencing that?
Yeah, there was a lot of it, you know. I remember on Christmas Day, the fighting continuing, and me just sort of praying, please stop, you know, please stop.
I know myself as an adult now, because I've had a nervous breakdown, and you've experienced that, which we'll talk about a bit later.
Yeah.
I know I remove myself from drama.
Yeah.
I always
me
say
too.
that when you're being your true self, your true nature, then there's no drama. When people are trying to be somebody else, something they're not, it's a pretend, it's an act. Drama, by definition, is performed by actors.
Yeah.
So when you're not acting, when you're being your true self, what is you, there is no drama.
No.
Drama is created by people that are pretending, you know, and trying to be something they're not. And
Yeah.
I can't handle drama very well now. I have to distance myself from it. It upsets me a lot, and I don't cope very well.
No, I don't cope
You know,
with it
I'm a
either.
grown man and I can't handle drama.
No.
You know,
Me neither.
not well.
No.
You then said as well that at 16, so we've jumped forward a bit. I mean, how were your school years? Did you enjoy school?
I did enjoy school, like because of my mates in school. You know, they were really supportive. I had really supportive friends, and yeah, so school was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Your nice
I think it
memories
was a
of
bit
that.
of a release, like get out, you know, go to school, get away, you know, for
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah. But then you said at 16, I think you were, well, tell us, you were told to leave, is that right?
I was. Well, I wasn't
What were you
told.
doing?
Basically, I'd started then working at the Halifax when I was 16. So I was there for quite a while. I have definitely been in the corporate world for a long time, and obviously I've left that now because it was not fulfilling me at all. And now I understand why, because I'm obviously quite creative, and I didn't know that then. But when I was 16, I'd started at Halifax and I was training, and I got home quite late one night, and there was just all bin bags outside the front of the door.
So you hadn't been partying, you'd just been at work?
Just been at work.
Oh.
I'd just been
Most
at
people
work.
would get commended for, you know, working hard, wouldn't
Yeah, no. So I just opened the door and my stuff was being thrown downstairs, and then I had to move to Dad's.
Ah, right, okay. So you had somewhere to go.
I did. Yeah, I did. So obviously that was amazing that I did.
Then at 19, Sammy, you went on your travels.
I did.
The start of your travels, because you're extensively travelled and you've lived in
Yes.
various continents and countries.
Travelled and lived in one in Aussie, yeah.
So start with, where did you go when you were 19?
I went to Malia. I was doing really well at work, and at 18 I was travelling around branches teaching people who were probably 40 odd how to do the job, you know, and it definitely, for me, it was lovely that I was doing so well, but I really didn't want to be someone that was just staying in the one job for years and years.
No.
So at 19, even though I was doing amazing, I thought, no, I want to go and have another experience for a little bit. So me and my best mate at the time decided to go to Malia, and we went there for 5 months. I went and worked there and lived there, yeah.
What were you doing in Malia?
I was doing bar work to start with, but my friends were doing PRing, so I quit the bar work and then we did PRing.
Yeah. When you're that
It's a lot of
age,
fun.
though, if you go to like a tourist resort, somewhere warm and hot, and whether you're repping or PR work or working behind the bar and stuff,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. It's good, but it was long hours, you know.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. And I think it was maybe like in the last month where I thought, I'm going to quit the job and I'm really going to try and experience just living here for a bit. I think my friends were still working.
Yeah.
So I managed to have, I think, about a month off. But yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed the experience, yeah.
At that age as well, you can go out drinking, you can go up to bed at 4 o'clock, get up at 6 o'clock, go to work. You can do all that, can't you?
Yeah.
You're very resilient.
Definitely, yeah.
Because I imagine you partied quite a lot.
Oh, we partied a lot.
Yeah.
We did party a lot, yeah.
And from there, you you came back home, but you're not settled then. You're backwards and forwards between your parents.
Yeah, moved to dad's. From dad's it was mum's, and I think I rented then at 19 for a bit. And then my mate was like, look, you know, it's too expensive this. I'm only 19, like I'm going to move back to mum's. And so that was my friend, but I didn't feel I had that option then. And then I advertised to get someone in, and that just went tits up. So then it was back to mum's and dad's, and yeah.
So like most teenagers.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I, at that age, was a nightmare. I didn't settle. I moved around all the time. I swapped jobs every 5 minutes. I was partying all the time. And I just didn't, I won't swear, but I didn't care really about tomorrow. All I was bothered about was today.
Right, okay.
You know, I was fully present in the moment all the time, but
wow.
I didn't think too far ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
At 23, then in your notes, it says that you were given a certain period of time, 18 months, to move out.
Yeah.
That's a very long period of time. That's not when you piss somebody
Quite
off.
precise.
Yeah. That's not when you piss somebody off. That's when it's a long-term plan, isn't it?
Yeah, my dad was like, look, Sammy, you've got 18 months. And actually, he did me such a massive favour, because then I was like, fuck this. I need to give myself stability. Yeah. And I thought, I have to give it to myself. So then I thought, I'm just going to smash my bonuses at work and I'm going to buy a house. And that's exactly what I did. I bought a house at 24. So he did me a huge favour.
Yeah, made you stand on your own 2 feet, I suppose.
Yeah. You know, all your experiences shape you, so I'm even though some of it wasn't the best, I'm still thankful for the experiences, definitely.
I like this bit in your notes, Sammy, and it says that you'd moved into a new house, and even just 2 or 3 days in, you had this feeling that you might be an author one day.
I did indeed, yeah.
At that point, way before you ever wrote anything.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think the universe, our intuition, which is our guidance system, whatever, gives us messages. It's always giving us messages, but when you're in the material world, you don't always receive them or interpret them or listen to them.
Yeah.
As you get older and you become more peaceful, then we, I think, use that more to guide us through life. I talk in the book about the guidance system, and I say all careers advisors need to have careers advice. When you go to school, they don't say what brings you joy and bliss, what makes you happy, follow your heart. What they say is, this is going to make you the most money, and you'll end up doing a job or a career pursuing money and wealth. And I always say any decision based purely on financial gain is a bad one. You need to follow your heart. And we navigate through life looking for what's going to make us the most money, the most power, get us the biggest car, the biggest job, the biggest house. And that, it's what we're taught, and it's done with the right motivation. They're not doing it out of malice, but it's a really bad compass. What we should navigate with is, does this bring you joy? Is it making you happy? And does it help other people? That's it. Those are the 2 things you should follow. Follow your heart, your bliss.
Yeah,
you know?
So important.
And so the universe, source energy, the 0 point field, whatever you want to call it, was knocking at your door then, giving you a message.
Yeah.
And you heard it, but you maybe didn't take it on board.
Don't be daft. You know, I thought, just laughed it off. I thought, I don't know what that's about, but now you know.
Look at you now.
Yeah.
Not only, we'll get to it, but not only have you written Flying Billy, you've written a host of other books as well.
Indeed.
So
I've actually started an adult one as well, so. Yeah.
Right.
But
like Mills and Boone.
It's not a raunchy one.
As she stroked his glistening hard chest.
Whenever I say it, I get, oh, is it a raunchy one? I'm like,
I wonder why you give that impression.
No, it's not.
I don't know why. I just thought it was funny. I don't know.
I think whenever you say an adult book, maybe people think instantly, oh, an adult thing.
Yes, I think that's
gotta be a bit raunchy.
Yeah.
So it's
A
not
book for
raunchy
grown-ups.
as yet. Anyway, it's not raunchy as yet.
No, but that could happen.
It could happen.
Yeah.
It could.
The next part of your journey is you meet your partner, your ex-partner now.
Yeah.
And are you 26 or is he 26?
I was 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're 34 now, Sammy, is that right?
34, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us what happened next. I know I've read the show notes, but you meet this guy and you're off on your travels again.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a whirlwind. You know, it was really special. We met, and I think then, you know, I was so used to doing everything on my own. I never really asked for help then, you know, and I had people asking me for help. And I was so independent and doing everything on my own. And I think when he came along, it was a release, because it was like, oh, I don't need to do everything on my own anymore. I'd been single 5 years prior to that. So, and then we were just together all the time, you know. It was beautiful for a long time. And then I decided to quit my job, still at Halifax then, and to go to Aussie, Australia. Basically, it's easier before 30. So I quit the job, and it was always my dream at that point to go and live in Aussie. So we went together, you know.
In your notes, you mentioned codependency, and
Yeah.
I think if you're with somebody, it's quite important to remain who you are. You can get lost in each other, and you lose sense of self sometimes, don't you? You know, you need to do your own stuff.
Yeah.
You need to still do the things that make you happy, your hobbies, factor that in. It's beautiful to be that close to somebody, engaged, but I also think it's really important to maintain your own identity too.
Definitely. And that, don't know whether that happened, to be fair. We were together so much, you know, when we went travelling, we were together 24/7. And he proposed in Bali. It was beautiful.
Sounds like a fairy tale.
It was beautiful, but spending so long together, I did realise that he wasn't right for me.
Is that when you're in Thailand, Cambodia, Bali, or Australia? Is that when the money ran out and you went, nah?
You're not getting money. What you're offering now, you know? No, basically, we travelled Thailand the year before we went to Aussie.
Yeah.
And then we went to Aussie, and we saved up loads of dosh, and we thought we're going to live like kings and queens and travel. So we did travel everywhere where you said. It was amazing. And then we travelled a lot of Aussie, and then decided to settle in Perth. And that's where I got a job, amazing job out there. He got an amazing job. Well, you know, amazing money, really.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you're thinking a lot about money, aren't you? But then I was really realising, actually, that's not all there is, you know. And, yeah, basically there was this realisation that I was really trying to ignore.
You're a creative, expressive person.
Yeah.
And pursuing money, initially, it's nice, but
Yeah.
that'll never make you happy.
No.
No.
And Aussie for me didn't live up to the dream of it, you know. So after about a year, I decided to come home, and I left the engagement.
So he proposed to you, and then
Adam.
you changed your mind and realised it wasn't right for you.
Yeah.
I've been to Thailand, and I've been to Australia. I lived in Australia for a while, but I've not been to Bali, and I've not been to Cambodia. So even though sometimes,
Bali's beautiful.
Everything I've read and seen about it, I'd love to go. It's mainly for the culture and the people.
Yeah,
but
definitely, yeah.
even though things didn't work out, there must still be some very nice memories of that period. From
Definitely.
travelling.
So many beautiful memories, you know, and I've still got love for him. And I think he's,
Yeah.
well, from what he says, I think he still has love for me. But, you know, not everyone is right for us. But he definitely was a really big part of my journey so far.
Yeah. I also think, and I didn't learn this till I got older, you don't have to fall out with somebody.
No.
You know, ex-partners now, I'm friends with some of them, well, most of them, and I may not see them all the time, but I have a lot of love for them. And
Yeah,
a lot of
definitely.
beautiful people, and
Yeah.
it can be really amicable, and it's mature and sensible to just recognise and think, you know what, this isn't right, but I still want you to be happy, and I still wish you all the
Definitely.
best, and I
Yeah.
just, you know, I don't wish you any malice, you know, and
No, not at all.
no, I think it's quite beautiful, especially if people have got kids where the parents can find a common ground and get on.
We want more of that, hey, don't we? You know, we want
Yeah.
a lot more where the kiddies don't have to heal from the childhood. And I certainly want that for my children, when I have them.
We've got an announcement to make, folks.
No. No.
I think the old school way of thinking as well is that parents used to stay together for the kids.
Yeah.
Trust me, children would rather spend half the time with a happy mum and half the time with a happy dad than
Yeah.
all the time with two parents that are falling out a lot, where there's conflict, where
Yeah.
there's arguments, where
Yeah.
there's this heavy energy. If you're not happy, you can still have a perfect relationship with your children. You don't have to be in the same household. And especially if it becomes corrosive and people are falling out and abusive, then walk away, you know. And the old school way was stay together because of the kids, and I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with it at all.
No.
Definitely not. I really don't, you know. And I think a big part for me, I was expecting Adam to make me happy. And when I wasn't happy, I thought, what's going on here? He's not
It's
making me
his fault.
happy, you know. But actually, I really hadn't discovered what truly makes me happy at that point. You
Only
know?
one person can do that.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
that
and
is you.
obviously, I went on the journey after that to discover that.
When you're looking for happiness outside, you're looking in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
Joy and bliss. I'll explain briefly. Pleasure is derived externally from material things, from external events. That's pleasure. It's transient and brief at best.
Yeah.
Joy and bliss come from inside. They are self-generated. They're emotions and feelings that come from inside when you have a correct thought process and you feel good. And it's outward and you give it to everybody.
Yeah.
Pleasure's temporary, and as soon as you disconnect, it's gone. That's why some people go shopping a lot. They get this very brief high, and then the second they come back home and they've got new things, and it's gone.
Yeah.
It's just temporary. It's an external stimulus. Pleasure is not what you're searching for. It's joy and bliss.
Definitely. It's all here, right? Being in your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not always easy though, you know. Sometimes you can get more heady but you have to just, you know, centre and bring yourself to your heart.
Trust me, it's not easy.
No.
It's not.
No.
For me to be in a relatively peaceful state now, calm and happy and experiencing bliss on most days, then that's taken a decade for me to fit. Well, there's the 20 years before when I wasn't actually trying, and then there's the last 10 years when I've put the work in and the effort and spent a lot of time meditating, being very careful who I associate with, and being conscious of my environment and the people in my life.
Yeah.
And then I started to put myself back together, but it took a long time. You know.
Yeah. You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So, Sammy, you worked at the Halifax before you went.
Yes.
Then you came back from Australia.
I did.
And you went back into the corporate world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
After Thailand, Bali, Australia, Cambodia. I know lots of people have been travelling, and I've done a bit myself. And when you've had an extended period away and then you come back, it's really difficult. Usually I have a bit of a slump, and you're thinking, what am I doing sitting in a box all day? And you've been spending time on a beach and in the sun, and it's hard to adjust, isn't it?
Really is. You know, travel is just such an amazing thing to do for self-discovery, you know. It just gives you so many memories, you know. When you die, you're not going to remember the couch you've got. It's those memories.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I say, as human beings, we were born to roam, experience new things, new cultures. Life is experiential. If I said to you, what did you get 5 years ago on your birthday? You won't remember.
No.
But if I asked you, do you remember when we were in India or Thailand? Be like, yeah, it's the experiences. Those are the valuable things. And I say, anything you can replace with money isn't really valuable. Anything that can't be bought with money is very valuable. So, you know, going walking, going on a holiday, spending time with people you love, these things you can't buy them.
No.
These are valuable. A watch, it might be worth 10 grand. Can money replace it? Yes, not valuable.
No, not at all.
No.
No, experiences, definitely.
Absolutely. So you went back and you became a manager.
I was, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I worked at an insurance company. I was head of customer care and like delivering training.
You seem to rise to the top
Yeah.
fairly easily in all the jobs you do.
I know.
Yes.
I do.
I was International Universal Corporate Manager of the conglomerate for the CEO for the marketing department.
I was actually.
And I was only there 3 weeks.
When I worked at Halifax, I was actually the youngest to be promoted at 17. So I don't know how this happens, but it happens.
Yes.
You must I'm
be
not
just
complaining.
Like a really cutthroat, bossy.
No, you know. With management, for me, it's not. I'll tell you what to do. It's I'll do it and I'll show you how to do it. You know.
That's why you did
do
well.
it together.
I was teasing them, by the way.
No, I know you was, of course.
Yeah.
I know, but I wanted to get that in there. You know, for
Yes.
anyone that's management at the minute, we can do better. Manage from your heart.
I know exactly why you excelled at what you did, is because a manager for me is somebody that has very, very good people skills, that understands and educates and listens.
Yeah.
And you have that energy.
Thank you
know,
so much.
And
Thank you.
I think that is why
Yeah, okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So you're a manager for 2 years.
Yeah.
Then what happens? I know what happens. You think,
Yeah.
sod this.
One of my friends had her own holistic business, holistic health, and I started to do volunteering for her because I'd previously not had amazing health.
Generally, or specific health conditions. I mean, have you been ill? Like,
It was basically, I was given too many antibiotics. You know, I kept getting water infections and they kept saying, take these tablets, take these antibiotics. And I'm like, okay, because I don't know anymore at this point.
Yeah.
And then I was getting the symptoms of an infection, but it wasn't testing infected. And I'm still getting the antibiotics. Not once did they say, Sammy, what's your diet like? You know, if they would have sat with me for a couple of minutes, I was having
Are
2
you
or 3
stressed?
oranges a day.
These kind of
Yeah.
things.
Oranges are obviously really acidic. I was drinking a lot of alcohol with the girls at weekend. I didn't know anything then about nutrition. And then I basically ended up in hospital with like a tummy that was out here. And I felt really poorly actually for a good while. And I left the hospital with so many tablets to take. And I just thought, sod this, you know, I'm not taking those tablets and I'm going to get better naturally. So that's when I started to really learn about nutrition and how we can heal through what we eat.
Yeah. This is a miraculous healing miracle machine.
Yeah.
If you look after it and put the right things in and surround it with the right things, it can heal almost anything.
Yeah.
I mean, anything.
Yeah.
People have cancer, a lot die, some get better. It can heal cancer, this body.
Yeah.
It can do that. But most people don't know what to do to enable it to perform well.
No,
You know,
and we're not really taught. Where's the education on it? We have to educate ourselves, you know, because you certainly don't get that really in school or...
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I write about it in the book again. There's no happy class in school. We're taught
No.
history, maths, English, religion, all these things. The most important thing a child can learn is how to be peaceful, how to not be angry, and manage yourself to be happy. Happy class. And it's not on the syllabus.
No.
We don't teach kids how to be happy with some basic skills, meditation, learning about correct diet, learning about interpersonal skills and managing stress. Kids aren't taught this.
No.
Why are we not teaching them this? They don't need to know half the crap we learn in school, but they do need to know how to look after the mind.
They certainly do. And that's why when I was teaching creative writing, I taught the kiddies meditation at the beginning. They'd come into class, Samantha, I don't know what to write, you know, and I'm like, they're so in the head because they've been learning all day.
Yeah.
So I did a little meditation and then I sang to them, really soothing, and it was easier for them to write then, you know.
Yeah. I say with a child, if a child's stressed, it's been told off at school, he's stressed and everything, there's resistance, there's tension in the system, they'll learn nothing. When you're happy, when you're in a state of bliss, you learn at 100 miles an hour, you're soaking things up like a sponge.
Yeah.
If a child learns something but it's made fun, they learn really easily. But if it's stressful and they're getting shouted at, they'll learn nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
the meditation before removes all the noise, turns all this off, they go into the gap, become still, and that is when also then your mind, you become creative, you start to flow.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of them like really enjoyed it, you know, and you could tell that they were benefiting from it. And then they'd start saying, Samantha, will you sing to us? And I'd be like, well, if you're good, I'll sing to you a bit later. And it just helped them be quiet and obviously write more. So that's what they were there to do, creative writing.
So you're off to India and you've decided you're going to become a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
Where did you go in India for that?
I went to Rishikesh, actually. It wasn't like I went there and had been doing loads of yoga before. It was more I was following my intuition. And it was really saying, Sammy, go, you know.
Yeah.
So I went and, I went to Rishikesh, and it's the yoga capital of the world, and it was stunningly beautiful.
Yeah. I'm fortunate I've been to India, and I went to Mumbai, and then I went to Gujarati, and some of the people have nothing. You know, the clothes on the back, food on a good day, and, you know, maybe a little hut where a lot of them sleep. But some of the happiest people I've ever met. Beautiful
Definitely.
people, beautiful
Yeah,
people.
beautiful. Yeah, the cultures. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, you know, when circumstances permit, I'd love to go back to India. Yeah. And it's such a big country, and you could travel around, you could spend a year travelling around India.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, really could. It was an amazing part of my journey.
After India, Sammy, you came home.
I did.
How long were you in India for?
A month.
A month. And
Yeah.
you did all your training in one hit.
Yeah, so I'm qualified as a yoga. Yeah.
then clearly something's happened. Things
Oh,
are
yeah.
starting to change. You're thinking and feeling differently because you come back, you quit your job, and you sell your house, or you start to sell your house.
Yeah, so it was a really big part of my journey, actually. You know, they say India is the mother of truth, and it just really made me get truthful with myself. And I really did not find my job fulfilling in the slightest, you know. I don't think I've ever really felt fulfilled in my jobs. I've always done my best.
Yeah.
And I've always normally told Sammy, you know, you're lucky to have a job. You've got a job, you're lucky to have a job. And I think, well, I'm lucky to have a job, you know, so I should be happy.
Yeah.
And then I got to this point where I was like, Sammy, I need to start listening to myself. So that's exactly what I did. And I knew I needed to quit that job instantly.
Yeah, and I think there's no luck. Basically, when you follow your heart, your dharma, the universe will correspond to the nature of your song. That's Dr. Michael Beckwith.
Yeah.
And the cogs of the universe, when you're in a state of bliss and fully present, start working in your favour.
Yeah.
They call it pronoia, when the universe conspires with you
Yeah.
in your favour.
Yeah.
And then you start to experience synchronicity and alignment, and you meet that person that's just what you need. You know, or you get that information just when you need it. When the student's ready, the teacher will appear. So
Yeah.
when you start to follow your heart, everything else will take care of itself. You can overthink everything. I say logic limits, dreams deliver, and faith frees. And if you apply logical process and thought to everything, you're not going to follow your heart and your dreams. Sometimes you have to throw yourself into gay abandonment, into the wisdom of uncertainty, wing it, and just follow your heart and see what happens.
Definitely.
And yes, you're going to be in the unknown, and you're not going to know how things are going to pan out. And, you know, you forget about security and guarantees, but you follow your heart and trust.
Definitely. And it's funny you say that about security, because I'd had the house at that point for like, I think over 9 years. And it was that feeling that of feeling settled, and I'd always struggled with it, you know.
Yeah.
Even when I bought the house, I struggled. When I first moved in, I struggled with that. What do I do with this feeling of being settled? Like, I don't know what to do. I never really fully experienced it. So yeah, I quit the job, and I did not know how I was going to pay the bills. Obviously, I had a mortgage and I had bills to pay, and I just had to trust that it was going to work out. Everyone thought I'd gone mad.
Yeah, well, that's happened to me many times in my life. People have said he's crazy, or they used to say mental. It's not a term. I try not to use that now, but
No.
But yeah, people thought I was crazy. But I'm following my heart. You know, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what's going to happen in a few weeks. I haven't got a master plan. But all I know is I feel like I'm doing something worthwhile, and I feel
Good.
like I'm content. I'm following my heart. I'm following my bliss. You know, and beyond that, I don't really have any answers.
No.
You know, let's see what happens.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a good plan. In India, when you're talking about bliss, I was having these sort of full states of bliss. We'd be doing this yoga class, like it was called Journey, for nearly 2 hours, and I'd just be pure bliss. And people must have been thinking, what's going on with Sammy in class? But it just felt like pure bliss, and I'd be there for I don't know how long. You lose track of time, right? But yeah, so I didn't know how I was gonna make it work, but I knew I was gonna make it work.
If you try to explain to somebody, I describe to people about the first time I experienced inner peace, bliss.
Yeah.
I'd never felt it before. And I was driving home from Manjushri. I'd just done my first retreat. It was just after I'd had a nervous breakdown. And I drove back from Manjushri. And it was this beautiful feeling. And it came from within. And I was still, I felt peaceful. And I couldn't stop smiling. And I was exuding, pervading bliss in every direction. I felt incredible.
Amazing.
And I'd never felt that before.
Yeah.
Never in my life, you know.
Wow.
And it was a game changer. And I thought, okay, I'm not quite sure what's happened, but I need more of this in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to pursue this. And so then I became avid. I went on retreat after retreat after retreat, doing long meditations, you know, for hours a day. And learning as much as I could about Buddhism then, you know. So this then is the start of your writing, Sammy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're selling your house, you quit your job, you become inspired, and this is when you start writing, is that correct?
Yeah, I'd actually not sold the house at that point.
But it's on the market, you're selling
Yeah, I'm trying to sell it, yeah. So basically I quit the job in the January, and then I kept writing. At first it was songs, so I started having guitar lessons again. And I was like, I need to write. So I started to write. I written a song, Grow. That was the first song I written.
Yeah.
And then I'd gone for dinner one night with my mum, and I was like, I can't stop writing, you know, it's amazing. I can't stop writing. And she said, why don't you write a children's book? And I said, it's really funny you say it, because I kept telling my niece and nephew a story every time I seen them that I made up as I went along about this boy who wanted to fly.
A different story or the same story?
It was actually Flying Billy, but
Yes.
it wasn't. I'd not written it at that point.
Wasn't polished then?
No. And I just made it up, you know, because my dad used to tell me stories when I was a kiddie about, it was called Robot Billy, and it was basically his adventures. And he'd started to tell my niece and nephew the stories again, because they're only young. And so I could make it relatable to them and name my main character Billy. So it was relatable. Obviously, totally different stories, but that's why it's called Billy. My dad's called Billy.
Yeah. I read the book. I ordered it pre-show, and I wanted to read it, and I got it on Amazon. And I had a feeling before I'd even opened it with the artwork as well, which is by your friend, I'm assuming, is it?
Katie Norris, yes.
Right,
Yeah, she actually came to India with me.
Okay.
But believe it or not, she didn't believe in herself at all. And she said, I can't do it. No, when I asked her to do the drawings, the illustrations, no, I can't do it. And I was like, Katie, you're amazing. I've seen your work. I believe in you. You can do this. Let's do it. And as a result, she did it. The first book she's done.
Sometimes somebody just needs to hear, you can do anything. You can do anything.
Yeah.
But usually, like Henry T. Ford said, whether you believe you're right or believe you're wrong, either way you're right.
Yeah.
If you believe in something, I say, if you never give up, it's impossible to fail. If you just keep trying, you will succeed eventually. And it's that self-belief. That's the trigger. Most people are capable of incredible things. As human beings, we've only tapped into a fraction of our potential. And sometimes you just need to hear somebody say, you can do anything. And you need somebody to convince you that you can do it.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah.
And then you go outside your comfort zone, you expand and grow as a human being, you start to evolve. And then I say to people, start with something small.
Yeah.
You do something and you think, actually, that wasn't nearly as bad as, because you'll think about it before and think, what if this happens? I'll look silly. What if I fail or not? And then you do it and you think, oh, actually, that feels really good. I can run 5K, for example.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can do 10. And then you do 10, you
can.
think, well, if I can do 10, why can't I do 40? And you grow, and then you start to realise, actually, I can do pretty much anything if I put my mind to it. And that is the message in your book.
Yeah.
You know?
It's more like putting your heart to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the message from the book, you know.
So you've written how many books now, Sam?
I think it's about 8. And then I've also written a children's TV. Well, I've written as if it's a children's TV series as well, a lot. For if it is a children's TV series.
Do you have a name for that yet or not?
No, I don't. But I do know that through the book and the children's TV series, which I feel eventually it will be, that I'm teaching valuable lessons. Yeah, basically. So I'm encouraging kiddies to believe in themselves, you know. Yeah. Kindness to self and to others. Courage, such a big one. And friendship. Yeah. Friendships are really important.
And the message there, Billy goes around asking his father and other people, can I fly? And they all go, no. And a big part of life is, I say, when the music inside is louder than the song outside, you're in the manifesting process. When whatever you think is stronger than the programming and conditioning from the external world, and although he's told he can't fly, he just keeps going and does it anyway.
He does.
And that's a message all children need to learn. You know, if somebody says you can't do it, well, don't listen.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so when did you write it? What happened?
So basically, after the conversation with my mum, the very next morning I woke up and I'd written, and then within about half an hour or less, I'd written Flying Billy.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I'd written another and another.
We talked about this before the start of the show, Sammy, and you said you're okay to talk about it. And I talk about it a lot. I had a nervous breakdown when I was in my early 40s, 41, 42. Then I even had another nervous breakdown 2 years ago. And I told myself that it would never happen again. But lo and behold, I got myself in a similar situation where I was working very hard and doing all the things I'm passionate about at the other side, and it all became too much, and I whipped myself into ill health and had a complete collapse, really. I couldn't function, and I was quite ill. You've had a nervous breakdown too?
I have.
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
Tell us maybe just what you've learned from that, and how you could, because you don't want to have a second one like I did, if you can help it.
I definitely do not, no. So basically, it was a lot of stress, I quit the job. I was trying to sell the house, and I was trying to make it work.
Yeah.
So that's when I started teaching creative writing and stuff like that. But yeah, there was a lot of stress, and maybe I wasn't recognising that then, and I wasn't asking for help because I'm so used to not asking for help.
Yeah.
And then eventually I did reach out for help, but then it was a bit too late, So I've learned, obviously, now if you really need help, ask for help.
Bingo.
No shame in that at all.
I learned those lessons too.
Yeah.
Initially, I wouldn't I just said I have a bit of a wobble. I wouldn't recognise it. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I felt I was this tough guy, and that, to ask for help, or certainly to go and see a therapist to talk about my problems, I was just very uncomfortable with the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get that help initially. I also think that if you have a nervous breakdown, you're quite often more susceptible to have another one. And so it's quite important that you learn a lot from that first event. And I learned that now I'm very careful about, I eat a lot healthier. I'm careful about who I spend my time with and the environment, the company I keep. And I also check myself. I'm very aware of how I feel. And if I don't feel good, I generally try and pause, try and figure out what's wrong, and then put myself back on track again quite quickly. It's recognising those signs early on, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously it did happen. And then, I was poorly for a little while, and I've been building myself up again, building my confidence, and just being strong again, really. Yeah. So it's been a bit of a journey.
Yeah. You came in here today and there was very little nerves and just seemed to be completely at home and comfortable. So you've obviously done a lot of work, and you're feeling good.
Done a lot of work, yeah.
Now to your singing, Sammy.
Yeah.
So this is quite exciting.
Yeah.
You sing. Maybe tell us when you started and what you're doing at the moment, because I know you're putting something together, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I'm doing an EP at the moment, so I'm doing a 4-song album. My teachers really just encouraged me to do it, so I'm doing it. But I love writing lyrics. I love writing music. I love singing actually as well.
Do you play instruments or an instrument?
I'm learning. The guitar has been something I've been learning for years and years, but now I'm more determined with it. But I'm learning piano, and I'm finding piano is easier than guitar. So the focus mainly is on the piano, and then I'm going to obviously do more guitar,
So with your EP, are you playing the instruments?
I'm actually not at the moment, no. So I'm working with my teacher on melodies, so I'm more lyrics. Don't find melody as easy at the moment. So the album's actually nearly done now.
Right, and what you're going to do with it? Where's it going to go?
Well, we were going to do it, and my teacher had said Spotify, but then I was at an event and I sang, and a gentleman came up to me, a beautiful, beautiful, lovely man, and he said, "Wow, Sammy, you've got a stunning singing voice." And I was like, "Really?" Yeah. Thank you so much. It meant the world to me. And he said, "What are you doing at the moment?" And I said, "I'm actually writing an album. I've nearly written it, actually. I've nearly written 4 songs." And he said, "Are you getting signed by a label?" And I said, "No, I'm just going to do it on Spotify." And he said, "You need to get signed with a label." He's signed with a label. Yeah. And he said to talk to him, and he's going to help me know what to do. So we're actually going to talk about it this week. So that's exciting.
Wonderful. When we said about the universe corresponding to the nature of your song, this guy you sang, and he's just appeared, and he might be just the guy you need to speak to. Isn't that amazing?
He might be. We're actually discussing working together on a house track as well, because my music's more like acoustic. Like Eva Cassidy, I used to love her. They say, don't they, tell me what song saved you when you really needed it. And then it was Eva Cassidy.
Yeah.
But I'm learning now, as I'm happier, that actually it's quite depressing, some of the songs. So obviously don't listen to her as much, but still think obviously she was amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I've been just really called to do a house track, and I spoke to him, and he does house music.
Right.
Did I say that right? House music?
Yeah.
House issue.
Just like fast disco.
So
At the discotheque.
yeah. So he does house music. So it's all worked out really good. I don't know as yet. Obviously, we've not done anything as yet. We're just going to chat about it. But yeah.
I believe, Sammy, that you're actually looking for another publisher. Is that right?
Yeah. My current publisher is amazing and he's a beautiful man. But basically, he doesn't do marketing.
Yes.
And that's what I need is marketing. How does anybody know that you've got a book out if you've got no marketing? Yeah. But I feel what I need probably is the right publisher who also does marketing. So obviously, you know how many books I've written, you know, but the only one so far to be published, and I'm still so thankful that I'm published, is Flying Billy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot.
I think you'll find that if you stay in a state of bliss and just keep doing what you're doing, that the person will appear.
Definitely. Yeah, I think the same.
So, Sammy, if somebody wants to get your book, Flying Billy, where did they go?
Waterstones. Okay. So it's online at Waterstones, but I was told that the Trafford Centre from the beginning of Jan, we're getting it in store, but it's definitely online.
Wonderful.
Amazon. It's available not only in England, but also in Australia, in America.
Yeah.
You know.
Very good.
Yeah.
What we'll do at the end of the show, I'm going to put 3 links in the text for with YouTube and also with the audio podcast as well. So with Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, etc. And it'll say, we'll give the link for Amazon, we'll give the link for Waterstones, and we'll give your Instagram account as well.
Brilliant.
So people can find you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that new publisher can get in touch with you.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
What's next for Sammy? I mean, musician, yogi, creative writing, author, travelling the world, an EP coming out, world domination. What's next?
Obviously, the EP at present is my focus. Yeah. But I really want to buy a camper van. I feel really called to buy a camper. It's just, one of my heart desires. So potentially
I'm always
buying
looking
a camper.
at them. I just haven't got any money.
They're so beautiful when they're done up. I want to make it really pretty and, just be able to drive somewhere in the camper and have a little adventure whenever I want, you know. So camper van. And I don't really know the rest, to be honest. And I think that's part of the beauty of it is the not knowing.
Just follow your bliss.
Yeah.
Where that is tomorrow, you never know. You only know where it is in the present moment.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I actually know a few people that live in vans as well, you know, in RVs or camper vans.
Yeah, okay.
Full time, you know. So.
Wow. I don't know that I'd want to live there full time.
But go on,
still like my luxuries.
Yeah.
But definitely go on adventures. Yeah.
Wonderful. Samantha E. West, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Same. Thank you so much for having me.
Really grateful you came into the studio. You're a lovely lady.
Thank you so much.
And as Paulo Coelho would say, because you've read The Alchemist, as I have.
I've read a lot of his books.
Warrior of Light.
Yeah, I've got that one.
I have got it here, yeah. Okay, Sammy, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
And keep us updated, because I have a feeling that in a short space of time, a matter of a few months, we might need to do this again and you'll have to tell us what's occurring.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Okay, folks, I'm going to leave you with a quote from the book, From Pills to Peace. And this week, the quote is, if you don't jump, you can't fly. You'll never get off the ground. Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. Throw yourself into the abyss, into the wisdom of uncertainty. Wing it and just know that everything's going to be okay. This has been Midnight McBride. I hope you've enjoyed the show. You can get the book on Amazon in about 10 other places. You can also get the Kindle version. You can get the audiobook on Amazon, ACX, iTunes, Audible, and lots of other places. You can catch this show every Monday and every Thursday on YouTube. Please subscribe if you want to get regular updates. You can also then 3 days later hear the audio podcast, which includes Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, Amazon, Google, etc. You can listen to the radio show every Monday night on Salford City Radio 94.4 FM from 11 p.m. till midnight or midnight till midnight. You can go to the website midnightmcbride.com and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn and others. This has been Midnight McBride. I'll see you next time. Shalom. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a little special treat for you now in the extras, and Miss Samantha E. West is going to read Flying Billy for us.
Flying Billy. There was once a boy named Billy who had always dreamt of being able to fly. He didn't know why, but he thought that maybe he was being a little bit silly. He went to his dad, Bert, and asked, "Dad, do you think I will be able to fly?" "Absolutely not," said his dad. "Now you really are being silly. See, this is why I call you Silly Billy." His best friend was called Belinda. Right, thought Billy, I will see if Belinda thinks I can fly. Belinda was dancing around in her garden when he arrived. "What are you doing?" asked Billy. "I'm dancing with the fairies," said Belinda. "Oh, okay," said Billy. "Well, I've come to ask you a question." "Go on," said Belinda. "Do you think I can fly?" said Billy. Belinda was quiet for a moment and then she said, "Do you think you can?" "Yes," said Billy, after a while scratching his head and giving it some thought. "Then of course I think you can fly," said Belinda. "Wow, okay, well then see you later, I'm off to fly," said Billy, and off he went, leaving Belinda to dance with the fairies. Billy had gone to the park. It can't be that hard to fly, he thought. He ran backwards, then forwards and backwards again, and "Now I'm ready," he said, so he ran forwards and jumped on his side, but crash! He fell right on his ear. He got up, dusted himself off, and he did it again, only this time he ran further, but bang! He fell right on his nose. He thought, I shall just have to keep trying. A week went by and he thought, my poor ears and nose. It would be nice to land on another part of my body. So he jumped again, but this time he landed like a starfish on the floor. Belinda saw the whole thing and she fell about on the floor laughing. "Oh, Billy," she said, once she'd caught her breath, "you make such a happy-looking starfish." They still had a great day playing, even though Billy could still not fly. That night, whilst Billy was having his dinner, his dad, Bert, said, "Give up flying now, son, it can't be done." "It can," Billy said, "I believe it can," and he took himself off for a walk. On his walk, Billy saw a bright, sparkling star. It looked nearly as big as him. "Hi, star," said Billy. "I really would love to be able to fly, and I believe I can. But I need your help. Please, can you help me to fly?" The star was quiet as if it was listening, and then it sparkled a beautiful bright yellow, followed by pink, then blue, then purple, then white. That night he went home, and before he went to sleep he said, "And I believe magic exists too," and then he fell straight into a magical night's sleep. The next morning when Billy woke up, he went to brush his teeth, and to his amazement he caught sight in the mirror of, but could it be? Was it really? It was! Billy had grown a magical pair of white fluffy wings. He could not contain his excitement, so he ran all around the house saying, "This is amazing! This is amazing!" The more excited he became, the bigger the wings grew. His parents were still having breakfast and did not say a thing. Silly Billy, they thought. As they did not believe in magic, they could not actually see Billy's wings. Billy was too excited to notice this, and he ran straight to Belinda's house. Belinda was talking to her flowers in her garden. "Belinda, are you okay?" asked Billy. "Yes, Billy, I'm just talking to the fairies that live in the flowers," she said whilst rolling her eyes. "Oh my, Billy," she said, unable to control her excitement. "You have wings." "Yes, I do," he said. "I knew you could fly," she said. "Let's go test them out," said Billy rather excitedly. They went to the most beautiful magical forest, and Billy took a run and a leap, and off he went. He could fly. This is amazing, thought Billy. I knew I could fly. See, Billy, said Belinda. Anything is possible if we just believe. Flying Billy by me, Samantha Elizabeth West.